Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the brand new Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, Apex Racing Academy, and Extreme Scoring right here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me, as always, in the announce booth is Larry McLeod with Apex Racing TV's Dennis Branch manning the controls. Tonight, we head deep into the Wisconsin Dells to Elkhart Lake, where we've got not one, but two 30-minute sprint races for you, for our racers to try to negotiate not only the kink, but every other challenge that the 4-mile-long National Park of Speed can throw at them. Buckle up for over 60 minutes of action from Road America. Well, good evening, Larry. How are you doing this night?
I am spectacular, Greg. I'm so happy to be calling races. Lamborghinis at Road America, two of my favorite things, all meshed into one night. This is going to be awesome. I have a huge passion for Road America. Yeah. I love this place, love the speed. This is the National Park of Speed, and tonight with these Lamborghinis, they're going to be flying around this place and showing us how much speed you can really extract out of this track.
Yeah, and we talked about how where we were last round for round 2, was a track that was Watkins Glen International, and how it pretty much promotes speed, but there weren't many outright passing opportunities at Watkins Glen. It made for very tight racing. And of course, as we went into our second race, when we invert the field, we had essentially the big one. On the very first lap, we had the big one. And, Road America, obviously, as you mentioned, incredibly fast track, but there are also a lot more passing opportunities here as well, because not only do you have to go fast, but you also, at the end of some of these long straights, have to really get on the binders, and it really presents some challenges for
you do, and that's going to be a great thing too, because whether it be turn 1, turn 5, Canada corner, a couple of great passing spots, a lot of places where you can still go side by side. You might see side by side action coming out of the carousel down towards the kink. We're going to see it probably even through a Bill Mitchell bend. We're going to see a lot of places where there's going to be a lot of side by side, and then you're going to see when we get into the second race, that inverted field thing. We're going to have a lot of this action going on tonight. I'm just super excited about it. I think these Lamborghinis, they race really well side by side at a track like this. We're going to see some exciting stuff. Hopefully not the level of excitement we saw going to the S's at Watkins Glen, but I think we're going to have a lot of excitement and some really good races here tonight, as we got a good shot of Tony Kernan finding the limits around the carousel
there. All right, well, tell you what, let's let everybody watching at home find out about what the limits are and what the challenges are of the carousel and the other 13 corners here at Road America. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford as we get our weekly track guide, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments.
Welcome, everyone, to beautiful Road America, located here in Lake Elkhart, Wisconsin. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this amazing 4-mile road course known as America's Nürburgring. Boy, I tell you, this place will allow you to open up the horsepower and really enjoy some speed and action here at this track. Let's head up the front straightaway here, and it is a long one. This front straight is nearly a mile in length, coming in at about 0.83 tenths of a mile. A lot of speed here as we go by the pit exit there to the right. You'll see a lot of fans lined up on the outside of the fences here around the course. Down into turn 1, it's a very fast sweeper. You can see just a little lift of the throttle, throw that car down into the apex. Around the slight right of turn 2 here, we'll head down into the right-hander of turn 3. Very fast exit here. Want to hit that just right. Launch up into a lot of speed here coming down the second straightaway here at Road America, this one being nearly a half a mile in length. Again, a lot of speed and a lot of opportunity for overtaking. Coming down into the famous brake zone of turn 5. Very heavy on the brakes. Going to get that rotation early right down to the bottom. Get a nice launch up off the corner here under the Corvette bridge. Into this blind entry here of turn 5. Very difficult corner. It wraps up kind of tight on exit. Want to get right back to the left to track out for the entry here of turn 7. And then we're going to head down, hurry down. It's a little short straightaway here into turn 8. Another heavy brake zone. Very tight left-hander. Come off of 8. Set up our entry into the carousel under the big Speedville bridge here. Turns 9 and 10. A lot of speed, a lot of rotation coming down into the exit here. Get right to the bottom. Come right back to the floor and open her up as we head to the famous kink here at Road America. Very fast right-hander, just a slight lift of the throttle, right back down to the gas. Here we go, down through Kettle Bottoms here, which is the famous backstretch at Road America. This will bring us down into Canada Corner. Another very tight right-hander. Some good speed up off of that corner into turns 13 and 13A. Bill Mitchell bend here. Very tight right or left-hander there. That's tough to get that just right. This will bring us into the final corner here at Road America, turn 14. And certainly you want to get a good launch off that exit, because this brings you out onto that 0.83 tenths of a mile long straightaway. Really open up the horsepower as we come across the start-finish line. There is your track guide for the beautiful Road America. Thank you for being with us.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kevin Ford, for that lap of beautiful Road America from not Lake Elkhart, but from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And Larry, I have to give Kevin a little bit of slack, because he did, he's a little challenged this week, because he finally ditched that BMW for a real race car.
He did.
And was behind the wheel of the Lamborghini for the first time this season. So there you go. Thanks again, Kevin Ford. And of course, we'll see him next week with our next Ricmotech race. So as our drivers are starting to head out for the 15-minute qualifying session, it's a lone qualifying where they all pretty much have the track to themselves. They have 4 laps, 4 attempts to set a flying lap to set the grid for our first race, as we're on board right now with Bobby Childs. We got a little bit of time as we don't have any flying laps in the books yet. So let's take a look back to round 2 of the Lamborghini Trophy Series from Watkins Glen, where in race 1, let's take a look first at the open category, where Russ Ruddock took the win over Mike Taylor and Alexander Theologus, and I think John Casey was there as well. Only 4 drivers in the open category from Watkins Glen. That's how race 1 turned out. And then as our field was inverted, and what we do is we don't invert it by category, we do invert the entire field. Mike Taylor took the win. John Casey finished second. Theologus finished in third. And then Russ Ruddock finished in fourth in his Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. By the way, we will be seeing and talking to Russ Ruddock before our first race tonight after he finishes his 4 laps of qualifying. So stay tuned for that.
Assuming he can 4 laps around Road America in less than 15 minutes, and that in itself is a challenge. We'll hopefully get him in here.
And as you can see right now, as we have the championship standings for the open category up on the screen, Ruddock right now is your leader by 2 points over Mike Taylor in the Free to Sport Racing entry. 10 points back from there. John Casey is tied for third right now with Alexander Theologus, both of them sitting at 77 points. Fifth in the standings right now is Bobby Childs in the D2D E-Racing entry. So let's take a look now over at the pro category where Mike Dam in the Orion Racing entry took the win, racing from pole to the checkered flag in race number 1. Then we had Caleb Lavender, who I believe it was his first outing in the Lamborghini Trophy Series. He finished in second. And then we had just 1 second separating third, fourth, and fifth positions. That was Pasquale Iannucci, who finished in third in his Cryptaji racing machine. Then Travis Schwenke in the Orion Racing entry. And then Tony Kernan, who made his debut in the LTS. Tony's been racing in a number of the Ricmotech series for a number of years. First time out in the Lamborghinis. That's how that finished up. And then what was interesting through here is as we went from 7th to 13th, there was this huge well, we'll call it an incident. It was more of it wasn't really an incident. It was Drift King Jeff Jacobs, Jeff Jacobs through the final corner, turn 11, on the very first lap as he went through all 4 wheels, ended up dropping from 7th to 13th, had to work his way back up, and he did a pretty darn good job there, but unfortunately finished just out of the top 10, just missed the field invert. Let's take a look at race number 2, where Travis Schwenke took the win. Caleb Lavender finished second race in a row. John Allen in his Astro Autosports entry finished in third in the number 101 car. Jeremiah McClintock in his first outing in the LTS finished in fourth. Eric Violet finished in fifth. And as I mentioned, we had the big one that race. We ended up going to full course caution, lost Randall McGrew, left Jeff Daniels, lost LeBrun in his first outing.
That was a big pileup.
Yeah, Andre Saunders got knocked out as well. But again, great racing there once you got past that incident. So let's take a look at the points now in the pro category, where Mike Dam now leads the series with 131 points. That is a 17-point advantage right now over John Allen in the Astro Autosports entry. Chris Thorman sitting back with 105 points in third. And then we've got that tie between Schwenke and Randall McGrew. So that is the tie for fourth, and sitting in sixth right now, we've got Eric Violet at 101 points. So still pretty darn tight there up towards the top of the order. And as you drop back further back from there, very tight standings. As a matter of fact, we've got, I think we've got a 3-entry tie for 10th right now in the series. But Larry, looks like we've got some time starting to roll in here from qualifying.
Caleb Lavender right now leading the way, 204.2, just ahead of Travis Schwenke and Mike Dam. Those top 3 all in the 204s. From there on down, it's a whole bunch there in the 205, 206s. I see that John Allen has finally jumped into the session, not having a lap yet, but we've watched John Allen in this and a few other series. He typically waits toward the end of the session, but here at Road America, well, you do have to get around to start a lap, and it is 4 miles just to start one, let alone all 4 that you're expected or, I guess, allowed to get. We'll see if John Allen's able to get out. I don't know that he was able to get much practice in before the session. We've seen lately, he's a couple times he's joined in right before, and kind of started out, so he might be one if he didn't get much practice to kind of pick up the pace as the night goes on. So maybe in the first race a little off the pace, but by race 2 I'd expect John Allen to do some fun things. As we continue to watch then at the list here, like I mentioned, it was and still is Lavender, Schwenke, and Dam, your top 3, the only guys in the 204s. McClintock leading the way out of the 205s, just ahead of Tony Kernot, Bobby Childs, Brandon Whitworth, Chris Thorman, Jacob LeBrun, all of those guys in the 205s. Jeff Jacobs just into the 205s. So it's going to be pretty tight there in that mid-pack with that front 3 kind of a little half a second or so ahead. And that may end up being the way that this track tends to race, is that you'll end up with this break. 2 or 3 will just start fighting each other. As long as they don't slow down too much, they can start to pull away, and that mid-pack will create some battles. I'm always worried about the first time going into turn 5 here at Road America. You saw on the track guide, we've talked about it, turn 5, down that back straight from 3 all the way to 5. One of the best passing zones, but turn 5 being probably the tightest corner on the track, makes for some interesting first time when everyone's all bunched together and you've got 15 cars all coming in at the same time. Could be interesting to see who comes out of who survives that first trip through 5. And how many cars are able to get back on track after going to the grass there between 5 and 6 underneath the bridge.
And there are a lot of challenges going into that corner there. You've got that last second kind of drop down into the corner that really loads up the front tires, unloads the rear of the car. If you try to, if you have the brake bias maybe a little bit too much to the rear, you can end up sending the rear of the car around.
You can run wide there. There's a whole bunch of runoff pavement to use, but it's not the smoothest pavement. And if you try to carry it too long, there's grass there you run into, and now the car just shoots straight across the hill there under the Corvette Bridge. So that whole 5 is going to be interesting the first time through. It'll be interesting both in the first race and in the inverted second race, because at that point, you've had the guys who finished first, second, third. The first race are now 10th, 9th, 8th. They may have made passes already at turn 1 and turn 3. They're all going to come together in 5. So that's something to look forward to in the second race. But we still have to get through qualifying, get through our first race before we get too far into that. As I'm looking at some more qualifying orders here popping up again. We've got a 4th one now, Randall McGrew, into the 204s. So he's now 4th on that list.
Jeremiah McClintock turns in a 2:05.02, which is his fastest lap so far this session. That was his 3rd flying lap. And a little bit further back from there, let's take a look. Bobby Childs, a little bit off the pace, maybe cooling things down. May have had a bit of an off there. Turned in a 2:11. That was almost 6 seconds off of his previous fast lap.
Yeah, well, the tight bunch at the top tells me they're going to have a very tight race here in kind of this semi-sprint format, where these guys are really going to be going after it. There's no pit stops, nothing like that. Don't need to save anything. Maybe save a little bit of tires for the end if you can. Be about the only thing you really have to worry about. But with the top 4 all pretty close together, could make for an interesting breakaway. But really not any huge gap on down. I mean, you look at this, it's only 2 seconds covers, almost 12 drivers. So it could be a pretty tight field when this race does get going. As a couple of drivers looks like Caleb Lavender and JT McClintock, Jacob LeBrun are all in the pits, and I think they may be done as they're not going to be able to do an out lap to be able to get their 4th in. But Schwenke and McGrew are still out there on their 3rd lap. We'll see if they can catch up to the pace that Lavender in the 2:04.2s and Mike Dunn 2:04.3s currently your provisional front row. Yeah, tight field tonight, I can tell you.
Yeah, and given a 4-mile lap here to have these lap times so close really shows how tight the racing is in the Lamborghini Trophy Series. And Larry, that'll bring me to a quick point here as things start to wind down here in qualifying. We have an amazing prize open to any one of our Lambo Trophy Series racers at the end of the season. We're going to be having a random drawing at the end of the season. And every one of our racers who's old enough to have a valid driver's license.
You have to qualify that, because we do have some in the series and other series that are not.
Yeah, they have the chance to win a great prize package. It is a free drive, 5 laps in a Lamborghini Gallardo at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Also some in-car driver training from a professional coach as well. And, yes, we're offering up the Lamborghini Gallardo, but I believe there are a couple of other cars there in the field if they chose other than the Lamborghini. But what we're doing is, it's going to be a drawing, and you get an entry in that drawing for every single point that you score over the course of the Lamborghini Trophy Series. So, again, better you do, better chance you have to win. All right, so if we take a look now, again, sitting up at the top of the leaderboard, Caleb Lavender, and looks like he's sitting in the pit lane right now, having just completed 3 laps. So looks like probably not going to be putting in a 4th lap. Mike Dam is only 9/10, 91 thousandths of a second off, so even less than a tenth. Then we've got Travis Schwenke as well. But Larry, tell you what, we've got Russ Ruddick now. He is sitting in the green room. Why don't we bring him in and talk to him? Looks like he's finished up his qualifying, and let's see what he has to say before race 1 tonight.
Russ Ruddick has joined us. Russ, hey, you've got your qualifying laps in. You got a minute or two to kind of rest here and watch. Want to ask you a little bit about how did you get into iRacing, specifically into the Ricmotech series?
Well, actually, I've been with the Ricmotech for the Extreme Motorsports since the very first season. Kind of got in with Kevin. I got into iRacing originally to help with racing in my real car. Raced American Iron Thunderbird and got in to try to help improve my track time.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of guys doing that, trying to get that bit of crossover. Did it help?
Yeah, a little bit. Then my age kind of got in, and I had to get out of the real racing. It got to be a little too physical for me.
Yeah, it's here in iRacing, the only physical you get is when you throw your headset down after you get a bad wreck in a race. It's about the most physical it gets. But so you've been around these series then for a while. This year with the Lambo Trophy Series coming in, and it's kind of an opportunity to run some big horsepower type of cars. I guess kind of similar to what you used to run back in your old days of the American Iron, isn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's high horsepower. Not a lot of downforce.
Yeah. Did you ever have a chance to run Road America back in the day?
No, I didn't. Never got to run Road America. I got a couple others, but not this one.
Well, that's, I guess, the advantage of iRacing platform. You get to run the great tracks, even if it's only in the analog world.
Well, I live in South, but pretty much with all the South tracks like New Orleans and Texas Motor Speedway, that area.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Great to have some of that experience brought into these digital races coming from the analog world. That's a pretty cool way to do it, as opposed to all the young kids these days that do it the exact opposite and go from the digital and then take up the analog world later on in life. But so very, very cool. Any plans for tonight's race? Any strategies here? Are you trying to chase down Bobby?
Yeah, I need to. I'm just never the fastest guy out here, but I'm consistent. That's my plan, is just to be as fast and consistent and not make mistakes and try to take advantage of everybody else's mistakes.
The good strategy around here is kind of be the last one standing and hopefully end up on that podium. So good luck tonight, and with any luck, we'll get to talk to you a little bit later.
All right, thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Russ Ruddick, currently leading the open class in his number 95 Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. Thanks again to Russ for joining us here as qualifying wraps up and the checkered flag is out. Let's take a look at the finishing order here. It looks like Mike Dam actually managed to pull ahead of Caleb Lavender in his last flying lap, Larry. So I'll tell you what, why don't we go run down the starting order here, and we'll get things going for race number 1. Taking the pole is Mike Dam, as we mentioned, with a fast lap of a 2:04.127. Caleb Lavender, 14 hundredths of a second off there in his D2D E-Racing entry, the 333 car. Travis Schwenke is going to be on the inside of road number 2 to start tonight's race, with Randall McGrew starting right beside him in the Genesis Sim Sport machine. Brandon Whitworth will start 5th tonight, with JT McClintock in the number 21 machine. That's the VTS Racing entry. He will start in 6th. Then row number 4, we've got Tony Kernan and Chris Thorman. Making up row number 5 tonight, Bobby Childs, and he is our pole sitter in the open category in the D2D E-Racing entry. He's running the number 88 car. Jacob LeBrun will start right next to him in the number 12 car. Jeff Jacobs will start on the inside of row number 6 in the number 36 streetsurvival.org entry, with Steve Daniel in the number 96 car starting right next to him. All right, let's take a look at row number 7, where Nicholas Parsono in the NAP Motorsports entry will start 13th with Russ Ruddick, who we just spoke to a second ago. He will start 14th in number 95 Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. Then we've got Pat Iannucci starting in 15th position with Mike Taylor right beside him in the Frito Sport Racing entry. Then we've got Scott Brooks and John Casey making up row number 9. And then we've got John Allen, and we'll have to see. I don't believe John Allen ever made it out for qualifying. So we'll see if he makes it out for the race in the number 101 car as we get ready here. And Larry, it's first off, we're waiting for Tony Kernan to make the field, and there he goes. He just shows up, but
don't think I see a John Allen either. I think I only see 9 rows there, and from our beautiful aerial shot. So John Allen may have been able to sign into the server, but it does not look like he's going to take green flag here in the first race. And that's a bit of a disappointment, I think, for everybody a little bit, because he has been strong. He's sitting second in the points. Would have been good to see him get in here tonight, even if it wasn't with much practice. But the show will go on, and instead it'll be Mike Dam and Caleb Lavender on that front row leading the way, and trying to see if they can hang on to that front row in this wonderfully fast track here all the way through turn 1. And then, of course, when they come off of 3 all the way down into 5, cannot wait to see this pack go 3 and 4 wide going into turn 5 in the first lap.
All right, and as you can see here, the pace car does have the field. It's going to be a rather long pace lap here, around 4 miles of Road America. We'll have to see. Actually, it looks like the pace car is keeping up a pretty good pace.
Kevin Ford did not pick the short queue up tonight. May have been because it gives these guys, you can see a lot of weaving going on there as everyone's trying to get some heat in their tires.
The tires, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Mike Dam's not doing it. Maybe thinking he wants to save those tires for later. But certainly the guys in the mid-pack trying to get a bit of a jump on the rest of the field. They're going to try and take a little bit of warmth into those tires, have a better shot maybe the first time through 1. Be able to be crisper on the brakes, crisper on turn in.
Well, it's a little bit early in the pace lap here. We should watch to see which cars we have the brake lights come on as well, because a lot of the drivers, rather than doing the weave, are certainly going to drag the brakes quite a bit.
I've been known to do quite a bit of that. I do a little bit of, drag the brakes, a little bit on the gas, drag the brakes again, and that may be the strategy that Mike Dam's trying to do here. But again, he might just be trying to save him for the long race. It is not as long as our hour and 15 minute we've done before. This is just the 30-minute, but you do want to make sure you've got some tires left under you at the end of this 30 minutes.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned here, at the end of this 30-minute race, we will invert the field, or a portion of the field. We're going to invert the top 10. If you finish 11th or further back, sorry, that's where you're going to start race. That's where you're going to start race number 2. But if you finish 10th, you're on the pole for race number 2. Now, might also mention here, as our drivers are making their way around on the pace lap, you'll notice that some of these cars do have red mirrors on them. Those are our open category cars. You can see they're
Bobby Childs,
right down the center of the screen. Yeah, exactly. In that gray number 88, that is Bobby Childs, our pole sitter in the open category, with the red end plates on the wing and the red mirrors, and the pro category drivers all with the black mirrors and the black end plates on the wing here, as the pace car brings the field through the carousel, that long sweeping turn. And I'll tell you, when Kevin Ford gave his track guide, he did as Kevin Ford gave his track guide, one of the things that he talked about was carrying speed through the carousel. The carousel, that's one turn. It's this long sweeper, and if you feed in too much throttle, easy to get a lot of understeer through there, and or frankly, could go the other way and get a lot of oversteer.
We saw Tony Kernan doing that here in the warm up and qualifying.
Yeah, and you can end up in that big, huge gravel trap on the outside of it. So probably one of the most challenging corners here. Although you obviously want to be able to get as much exit speed as possible, heading over towards the kink and then down to the Kettle Bottoms, and then to right here, one of the primary passing corners at Road America, Canada Corner. Very, very heavy braking. You can see, much like many of these tight corners at Road America, almost a 90-degree turn. You stand the car on its nose after a long run down a long straight, and then you have to work your way back up the hill here, up Bobby Mitchell, to the final corner to turn 14. and then then you just look straight up in the air as you head up the hill towards the finish line here.
So as we get to the start here, and Mike Dam on the inside will lead the pack, they get to that start zone, and he gets to control the field a little bit, but it's going to be a long run to turn 1. So good opportunity already off the start to get some drafting and passing. Watch for the mid-pack to go 3 wide into 1, and hopefully they can bottleneck themselves down into 2 wide, and then by the time they come off 3, maybe be down to 1. We'll see, as it looks like we are green flag. Yes, we are, and off goes Mike Dam already. Got a pretty good jump there. Looks like on the outside, Lavender did not, as I see Schwenke trying to take a bit of that inside draft and try and stick in, but he's side by side with Lavender going in. He does get the nose ahead, but you can see he's staying too wide for the pack there behind, as McClintock there on the inside looked like
we've got Whitworth right next to him in the number 42 machine, and then Tony Kernan slotting in right behind. And actually, we've got the 3 blue cars in
Whitworth
a row.
Goes around.
Thorman, and then Whitworth goes around. Thorman got by him, and you can see here backing out of the way, and it looks like a little bit further back of the field. I think that was Scott Brooks, that went off as well over by coming down the hill towards turn 3. As they now get back in line, but both of those drivers going to drop down towards the tail end of the field. Brooks now sitting in, he is sitting in, I believe, 17th position overall, and Whitworth right behind him in 18th.
Watching Steve Daniel here as they came up through turn 6 there, battling it out. As he was right there with Nick Parsono side by side through 5 and 6. They've kind of straightened it out a little bit. As we head up into this battle right now between McClintock, I want to say it's Tony Kernan probably right behind him. Trying to get that run, and Kernan's going to be looking to see if he can make that pass going into Canada Corners. They'll head through the kink here for the first time on cold tires. McClintock through, there's Kernan right behind him, and this is a long train of cars right now. Through the cuddle bottom all the way down into Canada Corner. We'll see if anybody tries to pop out, make any passes. Everyone's staying disciplined right now. Tires just a little bit cold. No one's going to be doing anything crazy. Probably trying to play this for the long game here in this first 30-minute race. So back in the pack, Steve Daniel still battling it out. That's Jeff Jacobs. Yep, that is Jacobs there in front of him. As they're off the last corner, see if Daniel can get a run. He's been kind of sticking his nose in around a couple of times. Try and make a pass. Has not made it easy as we jump up here now to McClintock alongside Kernan. They're going to go side by side as they approach turn 1. That's Kernan on the inside making that pass. McClintock not going to make it easy. He's going to stay on his quarter all the way down into 3, but he's going to pull in behind. Good battle between these two. McClintock, one of the newer drivers here in the Ricmotech series. Of course, Tony Kernan, he runs pretty much every Ricmotech series that we have. One of our veterans out here. There's a shot of Mike Taylor. And then there's Jeff Jacobs now, still Steve Daniel hounding him. As they go down the back straight. Daniel going to try to move down the inside as they approach 5. Not able.
No, I just my laptop just powered down with lack of power. Can you get?
Not ready yet. All right, we are back. Sorry for the technical issues there, but we are definitely live with you now. We're back here. We are on lap 5. Mike Dam still leading the way. Now with about a 1.5 gap on Caleb Lavender. We are watching now, trying to chase him down, but Caleb has got his work cut off for him because he's got a very fast Travis Schwenke, just 2.5 tenths behind him, coming down towards Canada Corner now. These three have broken away from the pack with Kernan and McClintock now about 3 or 4 seconds back behind these guys. And Mike Dam looks like he's just a machine right now, putting in laps and trying to stay clear. And Schwenke might be trying not to press too much on Lavender because, they want to try and stay within sight distance of Dam if he makes any footing wrong anywhere in this race.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's at this point here, you just want to stay at least within shouting distance, I guess, here as they come up the hill over towards start-finish to complete lap number 5. We are just about a third of the way through this 30-minute race. And again, apologies to everybody. A couple of technical difficulties here. But, again, racing goes on, and you can see right now as our cars are completing that lap. Now, we do have McClintock and Thorman kind of separating out, but a great battle going on right now between LeBrun and Daniel a little bit further back in the field as we're on board right now with Whitworth and of course, remember Whitworth had that spin on the very first lap.
Yeah, because he was all the way up there in between McClintock and Kernan, battling in that 4-5-6 battle, and then when he had that spin, he put himself just far back. He would like to get the 10th spot before the end of this race to try and get the advantage of that bump up there with the end of the order for race 2. Right now, still has to get a couple more, 3 seconds behind Iucci for that 10th spot. He's still got less running too. So putting in some good laps here.
All right, and here as we're on board right now with Caleb Lavender, there we go, and both Lavender and Travis Schwenke as they come out of Canada Corner, starting to make their way uphill. Mitchell still separated by about 3 car lengths as they make their way up the hill, and you can see our top 3 drivers, Dam, Lavender, and Schwenke, have really started to separate themselves out from the rest of the field. There you can see Tony Kernan just actually quite a bit back. With the enduro lights going on, I guess, trying to find his way to the front of the field there. As we jump a little bit further back in the field right now, this is again Bobby Childs here, along with is that right ahead of him? He's got Scott Brooks, who also had that early race spin.
We didn't see what happened to Bob Childs. When we first were looking at it, he was still running up there as the lead in the open class. Now drop back a little bit. Also running strong there, but this right now is Childs running on Brooks down the front straightaway going into one. Looks like he can make that pass. It's a pass to Bobby clearly by turn 1. As it looks like John Gates has got a spin. I want to say it's probably coming out of 3. Yes, it is. Very easy place to get a spin. Some uneven curving, it's a little bit off camber, especially coming down the hill from a little bit of a kink there, moving towards the bridge. And a lot of times you see guys try to carry too much speed in, they can catch a curve from the inside, spin outside, go back across. Shot though, as we go from 5 is Russ Ruddick. 8 there with Russ Ruddick, just ahead of Whitworth. This is that battle for 11. Whitworth here again. He had an early spin. He's going to get back to the 10. Get around Ruddick. He's 2 more seconds up the road there to Iannucci. That's where everybody wants to be at the end of this race. You're halfway through, just about halfway through the first of these 30-minute sprints. Look at the run that Russ Ruddick gets off of King. Tons of speed there. For Whitworth on Ruddick. Wonderful pass there for Whitworth. Really set him up well. And King, you can see the speed difference there. These are fixed set of cars. It's not like somebody has a better setup than that King. That is all driver's hands for Whitworth. Brandon Whitworth making that wonderful pass on Russ Ruddock down the kettle bottoms all the way to Canada Corner. Whitworth now has his eyes set on Iannucci, and just giving an idea on pace, Whitworth has been running mid-205s, Iannucci running in the mid-206s, so it's not going to be long before Whitworth finds himself right on the tail of Iannucci for that spot. Actually, looks like he's already in the 10th spot as Iannucci's now in 9th.
9th, yeah.
So somebody just had themselves a spin. We'll get back to that in a minute as we're watching now as Schwenke still trying to chase down Lavender here for 2nd spot.
All right, as they come through 5 and start to head up, and you can see as they both take that really, really jarring gator teeth on the exit of turn 5 and come through. Mike Dam still with that 2-second plus advantage over both Lavender and Schwenke, but here Schwenke starting to close up ground just a little bit as they make their way through turn 8 underneath the Speedville Bridge and into the carousel. Here again, as we mentioned before, very important that you maintain constant throttle, feed it in a little bit more as you exit the carousel, as you make the run down towards the kink. A little bit of a breathe on the throttle for these cars. And we've got somebody off track right now coming out of turn 8. A lot of drivers will run off. Let's take a look at the replay here as they come down towards the kettle bombs. This is Jeff Jacobs in the number 38 machine, under braking going into turn 8. And he just feeds in maybe a little bit too much throttle there, Larry.
It's a rough exit on that curbing as well. It doesn't take much. And these cars are a pretty good horsepower vehicle here in these mid-engine Lambos. And for Jeff, that's going to cost him a couple of spots as he's now dropped to 10th. Although, if he can hold that, he'll be in the pole position there for race 2. But he gives that spot up now as Whitworth moves up to 9th, still trying to chase down Iannucci, and that now would be for 8th if he can get there. So you can see Jacobs there just about a second or so behind Whitworth. So both Jacobs and Whitworth are looking to try and catch Iannucci. But right now, all 3 of those guys are in that top 10 where it's critical to be. It's Russ Ruddock that would like to get there. He's currently in the 11th, and Bobby Childs working his way back to the field. He's in 12th. There's a good shot of Russ Ruddock coming up the hill there under the starter stand right there, starting another lap here at the top of that hill. And I tell you, you can see it from some of these shots how steep that hill is coming up along the front straight, this massive front straight here at Road America. It's a very tall hill, even though it doesn't always seem that way when you see it in pictures, but there's some serious elevation changes there. These guys are just like clockwork.
Yeah, you see almost every single lap hitting the marks, almost the exact same place, every single one of them hitting an apex. And you can pretty much tell that they're not making up any ground on Dam. They're keeping pretty much a consistent gap between one another there. A little bit of a drop of the wheel coming out of turn 7 for Travis Schwenke there. But still just so similar lap after lap after lap. They both now, though, and you can see this, you talked a little bit, Larry, about wanting to conserve tires coming out of the carousel that time around. Travis Schwenke not only taking a wide entry, but also opening up the exit a little bit more as well. Typically 2 different lines that are common through there. One is going to be to open up things on entry and then kind of come down to the apex on exit there.
Very traditional sort of late apex sort of design.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas some of the lighter, more late cars, much like an MX-5, they might actually hug the curbing on entry and then open things up a little bit more, open up the wheel, carry as much momentum on exit.
It is a long corner. There's a lot of time you spend in that carousel.
But what we're seeing now here is that Lavender and Schwenke kind of diverging as far as their line through there. And a matter of fact, you noticed that last time by now that Lavender had opened up a little bit of ground, but the equalizer are these very long straights here at Road America, and Schwenke starting to close things down just a tiny little bit after losing ground. As it stands here, though, our top 3 drivers still, if you take a look up at the timing pylon on your left, with about a 5-second advantage over Tony Kernan running in 7th. So probably running in 4th. So a lot of breathing room. The big thing, though, if we look back at the open category, Russ Ruddock now running in the lead, and he has about a 10-second advantage. You said that Childs, we missed it, but Childs must have had an issue. Childs now who has just, there he is on course right now in that gray car. He was our pole sitter in the open category, currently running second, about 9 seconds back from Ruddock, who is our points leader right now in the open category. Taylor running third, Parsoneau running in fourth.
Looking at some of those battles back there, I think we've got Brandon Whitworth ought to be right on the back of Iannucci right now for that 8th spot in this field. And there he is as they go through, I believe that's turn 6, is heading down here through this kink-like 7 down this last short hill. But you can see Whitworth now. He had made up that 2 seconds as Taylor and Parsoneau going side by side. That's through 5 and heading up to the Corvette Bridge. Parsoneau trying to make his way around Taylor here. This is the battle for 13th. Both these guys in the open class. The open class probably good. This would be about the 3rd or 4th spot here in open class just among these drivers.
All right, now side by side, take a look here. We've got Whitworth, and I believe that is Iannucci in the green entry.
Just did the same thing to him, I think, that he did to Russ Ruddock a couple laps ago for Whitworth. Gets that great run off the kink, carries so much more speed, and makes that pay off on the end of that long straightaway. And now he finds himself up into 8th. Not a bad recovery considering what the spin that he had on lap 1 from a starting spot of somewhere around 6th or so.
That put him all the way back to 18th. Yeah. So he's worked almost halfway up.
Drive.
And and this as it stands, and we have just about a little bit less than 9 minutes remaining here in our first race, with Brandon Whitworth sitting in 8th position. That would start him off in 3rd if things were to end right now, as we again invert the top 10 entries in the field. All right, so we're staying on board right now here with Lavender and Schwenke. That battle for second continues to rage on here as they come up the hill underneath Corvette Bridge, turn 6. And as they set up for the appropriately named Hurry Downs here at Road America. Travis Schwenke still about 3.5 car lengths back, but he makes up some of it under braking. I mean, this is the challenge, Larry, in a spec series with a spec setup. You're not going to find yourself, with magically great braking capabilities over the car in front of you. It's a question of what you do when you do it.
The only thing about spec series is sometimes that setup that everybody's given, it does tend to lend itself to certain driver styles and maybe not other driver styles, but the real cream of the crop drivers tend to be able to adapt. They can adapt and adjust, and when it's a setup where they can change it, they might adapt to their favorite style. But in a series like this where it's totally spec, the really good drivers are able to adapt their style a little bit. So if the car's a little loose in entry, they can work with it, get the right rotation, and still get the power down on a track like Road America. It's all about corner exit speed in this place. And the drivers that are able to do that are the ones that go fast. And you can see that even at the front of the field with the way Mike Dam is just chipping away and opening that lead just a little bit. And you don't even see it, but it's probably 6 inches a lap is all it takes. And that's what's turned into a 2.5 second gap from Mike Dam to Lavender and Schwenke. As you can see right there, there hasn't been a moment. It's just been half a tenth every single lap.
Every single lap, every single corner.
And you go down the field and you look at the way Brandon Whitworth has made this recovery drive to go from 17th, 18th, all the way now up to 8th. Again, he's carrying speed places with the setup that some of the other drivers just aren't able to carry.
And again, and it's not only adjusting to the setup, it's adjusting to what mistakes you've been making around the track as well, and trying to turn in the more perfect lap each and every time as we sit on board here with Whitworth. Of course, as you can see there from looking at the time pylon, he's still got a couple of seconds to get up.
Running wide.
Oh yeah, look at that. Coming out of the final corner, coming out of 14, touches the gravel trap over there, but gets things back underway. Losing a lot of ground there, though, to Mike Taylor in the number 66 entry as they now come through. So again, Parsoneau now sitting in 14th position, move Taylor up to 13th. As we're now working lap number 12 here, we've got just a touch over 5 minutes remaining here in the first of 2 30-minute sprint races from Road America.
Should be good for about 2.5 laps, as it looks like Mike Taylor is now off, which should give Nick Parsoneau that spot that he was hunting for, and he just had his own off a second ago. Now it's Taylor returning the favor and going to fall behind Parsoneau, unfortunately for Taylor. But both those guys, as we get late in the race, and I wonder now, we talked early on about who had saved some tire. maybe now we're seeing something. So we go from a cold tire, no grip, a bunch of spins on lap 1 to a nice stretch of the race where everyone's turning their fastest laps, everyone's comfy.
Two people running
to now the
tires down and
so
going
maybe
off
these are
course.
10-lap tires and we're on lap 12.
All right, so we're on board again. This is the battle for second, and Travis Schwenke, he's made up a lot of ground in the last lap and a half here. You can see just about a car length and a half back now, made up about a car length and a half. But again, with these very equal
I bet
cars,
he's watching the clock is what he's doing, right? He's been back, biding his time, watching Lavender's line, and trying to see where's weakness, where can I get by, where am I quicker? Because what he's going to want to do is hold there, wait for it, and maybe even a last lap dash, or maybe he'll be a little conservative and he'll try it on that one, the previous lap instead of waiting all the way for the white flag. But you can see he hasn't been, more than a couple lengths. Now he is just a car length behind. Almost looks like he might try and move going into 5 on this lap. That's how close he's getting. Maybe just wait for that one run at this point with only 4.5 minutes to go, probably 2 laps. You don't try to time anything. You wait for the opportunity, and there's only going to be about 5 more passing opportunities because it's Road America. You get about 3 per lap, and this being one of them. I don't know if he's going to make it this time, but he's going to try and keep. Look at the wide entry that he takes and the tight entry for Lavender trying to protect.
Yeah, and that's going to give Schwenke a good run out of turn 5 up the hill underneath the Corvette bridge. And, Larry, as I watched on the front straight and also making the run down Kettle Bottoms the last time by in the Canada corner, Schwenke, who didn't seem to be able to make up a lot of ground on the straights, was able to draft up and knock off like about, a half a car length or so at a time. And, maybe it is a question, and we can see now as wide as Caleb Lavender got on entry. He tried to come down low, and the car pushed out a lot there. I think he is running his tires down here at just the wrong time, as we have only 3.5 minutes left here in our first race this evening.
It's going to be close to getting that second lap. I don't think we'll get white flag this time. So that's one more lap to put another 4 miles on those tires. So again, if Lavender's having an issue holding his tires under him, that's not going to help his cause. For Schwenke, it does give him a couple more opportunities in some of these passing zones, like the front straight, the back straight, going into Canada corner. As Mike Dam continues, just his just machine-like work turning in a 2:05.0, and that's Bobby Childs, who had been right up there in second spot in this class. Might still hold on to it, but he's got a very fast Nick Parsons coming up behind him. Childs spinning right there. That looked like coming out of 8 right before that Johnsonville bridge there.
Yep, going underneath the Speedville bridge, going into the and you can see there Bobby Childs running wide, coming out of the carousel as well. We'll definitely have to watch this here as Parsino, who's had his own troubles this evening, is starting to close things up just a little bit. But again, time is starting to run down here as we have only a little bit over 2 minutes left on the clock. And as you mentioned, I think where Mike Dam was, we'll probably have one more lap remaining. But now look at this, the battle for second. Schwenke all over the back of Caleb Lavender. Lavender has to get very defensive. He's all the way to the inside. Going into turn 5, and Schwenke basically just held his line. But every time Lavender has to move to the inside, has to take that fast entry there and compromise the corner. What he's going to do is he's going to run off those tires just a little bit more.
And with this extra lap they're going to get, because again we got about a lap and a half to go, that's more opportunities for Schwenke now with probably the fresher tires. But Schwenke's been working those pretty good, and he has been staying close. And sometimes these cars, they do a little bit of aero. Running close does wear, especially those front tires. So getting that turn-in bite that you need around here to get the right late apexes on these fast 90-degree corners might be a little bit of wear for Schwenke as well. Let's see if he's able to get any kind of a run this time. This is his chance to test his ability to get the run down to Canada corner. I don't see him getting any greater speed right now than Lavender in front of him. So Schwenke now knows that Lavender can take that, get a good run. So Schwenke may now have to think, can he get a better run off of 14? Maybe have to make the pass in 1 or hold on for the rest of the lap.
All right, for a moment there, I thought they might have been closing down just a little bit on our leader, Mike Dam. Dam's still pretty safe there with 2.4 second advantage as he makes his way up the hill, and you can see here.
Mike Dam just did a 2:04.6 his last time, so I don't think he's
just ran the fastest lap of the race here. As you can see, white flag now in the air here from Road America. Last lap for race number 1 in the Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series. As our battle goes on, which are going to drop a little bit further back in the field now.
Russ Ruddock chasing down Jeff Jacobs, and we know Jeff Jacobs is always a tough pass. Russ Ruddock is going to try to make that pass. as Schwenke, we're keep an eye on him. He's still trailing Lavender as they go down the front straight, but Ruddock here, as he's going to want to try and make a pass as they enter the front straight for the second to last time, as they'll start the white flag lap here at the top of the hill. So for Ruddock, he's going to try and get a run and make it on by. So we're also keeping an eye on that ticker of Schwenke, just still a little bit behind, about half a second behind Lavender as they're going down the back straight. As Ruddock takes to the inside, does make the pass, going into 1. So Ruddock now up to 10th. And that's a critical spot. That's the gift spot you want to be in. So that's critical there for Ruddock to get around Jacobs. And now, if he can hang on for the next 3 miles, he'll be sitting on pole for race number 2 as we jump back up to Caleb Lavender in the battle for second with Travis Schwenke. As here they are under the Speedville Bridge, going around that carousel for the last time. Can Lavender hold him off? He's got some pretty good speed. He did save a little bit of something in this car. He hasn't given up anything yet. And for Schwenke, he just saw Lavender can hit the kink and hold speed. So I don't think there's going to be many opportunities.
And Schwenke pushed wide on the wide at the apex there and actually lost maybe half a car length as they come out through the kink. Once again, Schwenke trying to open up that corner as much as possible. Drops a wheel, driver's left in the interest of opening up the corner as they come under braking now down in the Canada corner. Lavender continues with
showing
that
no
car
weakness
length and a
at
half
all.
advantage.
He is real fast right now for Lavender.
Yeah.
Hitting all his marks on this lap. But Mike Dam has looked flawless the entire race. 15 laps, 4 miles apiece, 60 miles around this place. He has led from green to checker to take the win here in the first race for Mike Dam.
All right, so let's take a look now in the battle for second. Crossing that line is Caleb Lavender in the 333 machine. He will finish in second. Travis Schwenke will come home in third. Coming up the hill, the first of our light blue entries, that is Tony Kernan in the Kernan Motorsports number 7 machine. He will finish in fourth, finishing fifth. JT McClintock. There we go, and I think that might be the best finish so far for JT here. His second round of 3. Chris Thorman now, and Thorman will come home in 6th. Steve Daniels 7th. Brandon Whitworth worked his way back up to 8th. That's where he's going to stand. Pat Iannucci and Russ Ruddock here just about to cross the line. Russ Ruddock will start on pole, Larry, for race number 2.
And he's the winner of the open class as well.
Yes, he is.
Here in race number 1. So for his victory in the open class, he gets to start on pole for race 2 in front of everybody. So it's going to be an interesting one there.
Yeah. And of course, Russ was already leading the category coming into the race. Jeff Jacobs, Bobby Childs, who was our pole sitter in the open category, he's going to start all the way back in 11th. All right, so as we've got the field now the rest of the field making their way through, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break. We're going to get set up for that second race. And when we come back, we're going to have the inverted field for our top 10 and then another 30-minute sprint to the checker. If you like what you're seeing here tonight, please go ahead and give us that thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV so you can find out about all the great motorsports and watch all the great motorsports, virtual motorsports around the world practically 24/7. And of course, click on that notification bell so you can find out when all those go. So again, let's take a quick break. You have been watching our first race of the night from Road America on the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here with the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series live from Road America. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry McLeod, and we've got our drivers out. They've got about a 5-minute warm-up, Larry, before they start their second race here. They've got either a little bit of an opportunity to sit back and rest, or maybe turn a couple laps and try and figure out exactly what might have been wrong with the way they ran the first race. So we're going to give them that couple of minutes, and then we will come back with race number 2. But very exciting battle that we had here on course, and again, hopefully we'll have everything up and rocking and rolling for the second race in just a moment here. But kind of what I expected to see here at Road America, Larry, where we had
we had that front three sort of pulling away, led obviously by Mike Dam winning the race, and a couple of battles mid-race by the middle of the pack. What we also saw was some recovery drives. We saw Whitworth have his spin on the first lap, was able to make his way through. We saw Bobby Childs have a spin early on and make his way through, then spin again. But we did. So you see that ability around here that a first lap incident doesn't necessarily kill your entire race. So that's kind of important for these guys to know that they can, make recoveries if they need to, not that you want to. But now it's going to be interesting with the inverted, because what we think we had seen in the first race, that first lap, cold tires.
Yes.
Now you take cold tires. We saw this at the race last time out at Watkins Glen, where how treacherous that first lap in the second race was, because you had cold tires and you had the speed inversion.
Yeah.
We may see some of that to a point tonight. I'm really hoping these drivers, you're going to see a lot of cars, especially that top 5 or 6, working those tires on the pace lap to try and get some heat in them. I think it's going to be critical tonight, so we don't see as many in the top 10 making that turn 3 off course. And that seems to be the turn tonight, where I even mentioned it's off camber. It's a bit of a funny little crest, and it's got a very tall curve at the apex. A little bit of heat in the tires will help the car stick a little bit on exit.
The one advantage is they don't have this blue arm pull all the way around the track, so that when you go off, you go bouncing.
Yeah, Road America, you get about an extra 50 feet before you hit a barrier.
Exactly. So hopefully, there we go. We were talking about the drivers maybe trying to find what mistakes they might have made easier or may have made previously in the first race. Looks like John Casey there. Perhaps testing the drifting abilities of the Lamborghinis. Of course, these GT3 Evos, they are rear-wheel drive. They're not all-wheel drive like a lot of the street machines are. But, there you go. We're on board right now with Mr. LeBrun. That's Jacob LeBrun as he comes through the cake. Nice little run there for Jacob, showing some speed. We are just about at the end of that 5-minute warm-up, so I'm sure LeBrun here will be finishing his lap. The checker flag is already out, and we'll have our field lining up for race number 2 here in just a moment. And a matter of fact, looks like Mr. LeBrun's come off track, and the pace car is out, and the rest of the field, not so much. But they're rolling out here. Larry, when you're ready, why don't we roll down the starting?
All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup, race number 2. And for his 10th place overall and his first place in the open class in the first race, he will start on pole. That's Russ Ruddock in the Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. He'll be in the inside of row 1, lined up with Pat Iannucci in the Cryptology. I can't read anything tonight. He's in the green car, and Pat Iannucci on the outside of front row. It shows you how bad my eyes are. Cryptogy. See, I'm just bad with
There's
this.
no L in there. That's the problem.
There is not. There should be. On row 2 on the inside, D2DE Racing's Brandon Whitworth. On his left will be SKKJ Racing Steve Daniel on row 2. Row 3 is going to be Chris Thorman, another D2DE Racing driver. He'll be lined up with VTS Racing's JT McClintock. Row 4 on the inside, Kernan Motorsports, Tony Kernan. He'll be lined up alongside Travis Schwenke, who we saw struggling to try and make his way around Caleb Lavender there at the end of that first race. Travis will start 8th here in race number 2 and starting 9th. And, of course, on the inside of row 5 is Caleb Lavender from D2DE Racing. He'll be lined up alongside race 1's winner from Orion Racing, Mike Dam. On row 6, you've got Jeff Jacobs in the streetsurvival.org entry on the inside, lined up with D2DE Racing's Bobby Childs, who is the second in the field for the open class. He's going to be 11 spots behind his chief rival. That's a lot of ground to make up.
That's a lot of ground to make up.
So on row 7 here on the inside, also a couple of open class drivers. Nick Parsoneau, he'll be lined up with Mike Taylor on row 7. Row 8 is going to be Brooks Racing's Scott Brooks, lined up with 046 Racing's John Casey. And then, of course, on row 9, Randall McGrew on the inside, lined up with Jacob LeBron in the 18th spot there on the outside for race number 2. And I think the story here is going to be who can get enough heat in their tires on this warm-up lap. And we'll see how they've set this. There they are, doing their warm-up lap, a full 4-mile warm-up with Russ Ruddock leading the way in that bright green machine here in Spec Lambo, here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series on the Ricmotech. This is going to be an awesome race. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch because the pace of the guys that finished 1, 2, 3 was a huge step between the rest of the field in that last race. Those guys are starting 10, 9, and 8 here in Russ 2. They race 2. They keep saying Russ because he's on pole. Here in race 2, so 8th, 9th, and 10th there between Dam, Lavender, and Schwenke. They've got their work cut out for them, but they've got the pace to do it. It's a question of how long will it take them and how clean can they stay to get there.
All right, so we've got the pace car leading the field down into that heavy braking zone over at turn 5. And yeah, so, obviously we're going to be watching here how well, say, a Ruddock, an Iannucci, a Whitworth. And now, interesting thing here, and this might be, the person and the driver who might be the wild card here is actually Brandon Whitworth, because he's sitting in this position primarily due to the problems that he had on lap 1 from the very first race. And maybe you wouldn't expect to see him.
He actually out-qualified Tony Kernan, and Kernan's starting 7th because he finished 4th in the first race. Whitworth, through the unluck and now luck, he finds himself up on the inside of row 2. You're right. Maybe he's got that advantage, and with guys like Daniel Thorman, JT McClintock, Tony Kernan able to maybe hold off the Schwenke Lavender Dam race behind them, perhaps it gives Whitworth a chance. He does have to get around Iannucci as well as Russ Ruddock. We saw Brandon pass them each in the first race.
Exactly.
And he knows that he's faster, specifically around the kink, than these guys. Look to see if Whitworth can take the lead on the first lap. And again, if everyone survives the first lap.
All right. So we got the pace car now heading down, breaking the field down into the kink. I'd also, want to watch for both Jacobs and Childs as they're sitting behind Mike Dam, and they've got Caleb Lavender just ahead. Maybe you try and lock onto the back of those guys, and and not necessarily mirror what they're doing. But if they can find gaps and find holes in those first 2 laps or so, maybe you pull them through. Maybe you can make up 2 or 3 positions in the first 2 laps or so. Sets you up for good things as the race moves on.
The other thing I'm going to be rooting for him because Jacob LeBron, starting last in this second race, he's been qualifying around the middle of the pack. He had some really bad luck at Watkins Glen his first race. Both races, I don't think he ever saw the carousel at Watkins Glen. After the bus stop in either race. Starting this race last, I'm kind of rooting for him. Let's see how far LeBron can make it up this field here in race number 2 and try and stay clean. We never like to see anybody come into this and have 4 bad races. It's about time he gets a good one. But it's going to be Russ Ruddock leading the field with Pat Iannucci on his outside as they come up the hill.
All right, pace car on pit lane, as you can see, as they start to make their way up the Road America straight over towards start finish. We've got, again, as you mentioned, Ruddock and Iannucci, and green flag is in the air. And as they start to make their way down the front straight, Russ Ruddock in the number 95 machine. He's opened up about a half a car length over Iannucci. Iannucci not pulling over to cover the inside lane. And we'll have to see if Daniel and Whitworth can move up. And there you go, coming up the inside, Brandon Whitworth trying to get around Steve Daniel, cannot get it done. They're side by side coming down the hill into 3, and you can see just back there Chris Thorman trying to push his way through with Whitworth right ahead of him. And as they now make their way up or make their way down underneath the cheese bridge, Larry. Look at this side by side.
Trying to make it 3 wide. Look at this. He cannot find anywhere to get on through as he's got Thorman and McClintock in front of them. But look at this side-by-side still going through 5. We talked about this earlier. Who's going to give? Who's going to yield? McClintock able to stay on the inside just ahead,
Now,
and looks like Thorman lost a spot there.
I was just going to say, watch Travis Schwenke. Thorman lost the spot, got a bad exit out of turn 5, had to bring the car all the way back over after running completely out of runoff room there. And Schwenke had a good run up the hill, could not get it done. However, he's going to have to settle in. But you can already see now just ahead of Chris Thorman, Tony Kernan getting very, very racy as they came underneath the Speedville Bridge.
Kernan started the first race behind McClintock as well, was able to get by him in about 2 laps, but he knows he's the faster driver. He wants to be able to stay pace with the guys up front, doesn't want to let Ruddock or everybody out in front make any noise, or even Whitworth. He wants to stick with him, and right now that gap, he does not want to see it grow from Whitworth, McClintock, and Kernan behind them, as there's a good shot of Steve Daniel now up to 3rd, just behind Ruddock and Iannucci. Iannucci leading this field still here on this opening lap.
Yeah, having gotten around Russ Ruddock, our pole sitter there, but still nose to tail as they come out of turn 14 for the very first time, make their way up the Road America Straight. Actually, now Iannucci opening up a couple car lengths over Russ Ruddock. And things starting to stretch out just a little bit here on the front straight. We'll have to see if things close down on the straight. Now,
Whitworth
moving to the inside just a little bit, showing the nose was Brandon Whitworth, but he got back inside. But Steve Daniel got very defensive there going into turn 1, entered the corner from center track. That's going to compromise his exit speed as they make the run down the hill underneath the Briggs and Stratton Bridge and now through turn 3. And I think
Whitworth's going to try and make a move here. He's definitely got to run. But Daniel's still close enough to catch a little bit of draft behind Russ Ruddock, because we've got an incident in the background there. That is McGrew again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Randall McGrew, who went off in turn 3. Don't know if he
the other
got
one had
the
a rough
tap.
first race.
Yeah, but as he went around coming out of turn 3. Let's jump back up to live action here as they come up the hill. Still very tightly packed here. Whitworth did not come underneath Daniel going into turn 5 as we thought he might.
Remember what we saw Whitworth in the first race, though, 2 different times coming off of the kink, was able to get a much faster run than Ruddock was one of them, and I forget who the other driver was, but he was able to make great passes. Let's see if he sets up Daniel here on lap number 2, try and get on by and then make a move on Ruddock later. Let's see if he's as fast through the kink against Daniel.
You can see there he's trying to sneak underneath. Daniel, again, wide entry, comes in on exit, but Daniel runs a touch wide there, drops the wheel. You can already see that Whitworth, they're trying to take little peeks to the inside as they come now down the kettle bottoms to Canada. Is he going to set him up to move to the inside? There he goes. And now under braking, and look at this.
He got help from behind by McClintock, it looked like, tapped into the back of Whitworth, and Whitworth was able to hold on, I believe, but now you got Steve Daniel out of that mix, as he also got kind of caught up in that pinball action. So unfortunately, he's the one that loses out. Whitworth is able to hang on, but I do believe that may have been McClintock a little later on the brakes than maybe he should have been.
Yeah, he made that late move to the inside and might have gotten a little tap there. And Daniel, Daniel got caught to the outside there with 2 cars.
So McClintock is the car you don't see yet. That's Whitworth on Daniel. Whitworth moved to the inside. McClintock way late on the brakes. We got the slow shot here. You watch McClintock down the inside, nowhere to go. Hits the back of Whitworth. Whitworth starts to spin. He's able to actually recover, but then McClintock hits Daniel as well.
And then McClintock gets tapped from behind as well. So lots of collateral damage there as Whitworth, great recovery there with the 4-wheel drift and gets it to hook up and continue on, but and holds on to 3rd position at that. But now here, let's jump a little bit further back in the order right now as we've got that's Tony Kernan coming down the inside on Caleb Lavender.
Yep. Going through 5 there, trying to stay in front of him. And this is where Lavender, who finished that first race up in the top 2, he's fighting to get through this field. And I can tell you, Tony Kernan, we've talked about him in other series here in Ricmotech. He's a late race bloomer. He's a guy that gets faster as the night goes on. So here we are now, 5 minutes into the second race, got 35 minutes of race time under his belt here. He's getting faster, and he's going to be a tough pass for Lavender and Mike Dam, who are currently running behind him. Schwenke's already made his way around him. He's already up into the top 4, but it's going to be Kernan's a tough pass for Lavender and Dam, currently 6th and 7th.
All right, as they make their way now here, as we're still on board with Mike Dam, our race 1 winner coming through the kink. And that is just, from that view, is just absolutely stunning there, Larry, with the speed that they carry with that just slight lift But now, side by side, right up ahead of
Lavender.
is Lavender, and he's got the move on Tony Kernan. Can he get it done? Yes, he does.
Late on the brakes, makes it stick. And then I'm looking up in front and watching Whitworth just got his way around Ruddock, just like he did in race 1. Whitworth gets around him again. Ruddock now has Schwenke on his 6, but Whitworth was able to dispatch a Ruddock, and now he's eyeing up Iannucci out in front of him. But it's Schwenke who's doing a fantastic job of making his way through the field cleanly, where Lavender is a little bit behind him. And, of course, Mike Dam's kind of taking the slow man's pace and working his way through bit by bit. He now has the tough pass of Kernan as we're on board with Iannucci looking back at Whitworth down the front straight. Iannucci hanging on to it up there. But Whitworth right now in the front of this field is one of the quickest drivers, and there's a side-by-side now.
Yeah, coming down into 3. It's Schwenke and Ruddock.
As Mike Dam also looks like he may have just gotten by Tony Kernan. He does. So watching these guys to get through, this is there's a penalty issued there. That is on McClintock to drive through for the incident we saw there in Canada. But look at Tony Kernan coming right back at Mike Dam. He gets past there, coming down the short straight from 1 to 2, from 1 to 3. Now he's going to try to return favor. He's on the inside going through 5. Going to make Mike Dam go the long way around. They're going to go side by side all the way to the Corvette Bridge. And let's see, on the inside is this real good place you want to be. Not a lot of grip on the outside for Mike Dam.
Nope, and you can see there Dam has to take
Not
to
much
the
grip
grass.
on the grass either. And he's going to lose an extra spot to Chris Dorman. So Whitworth did get around Iannucci. So now Whitworth leads this race, and he wants to put daylight between himself.
And
he's got Iannucci,
he's
Ruddock.
already now, you can see there as they come to the carousel.
That's Mike Dam. That's a race 1 winner.
And he goes off coming out of turn 8, coming down the hurry down. So let's take a look here at the replay under braking. And
all by himself.
Yep, and just got onto the throttle. Oh, and look at that. Just as he went around, just missed Bobby Childs here. But let's jump back to the live action now. And
look at this.
Getting
somebody's going to come out of this in tears. So you got Lavender out in front of this.
We got Ruddock. We've got Schwenke. And a great move there by Caleb Lavender getting past both Schwenke and Ruddock. Now drop Ruddock, and I think Tony Kernan has just gotten past Ruddock as well. There you go, coming up out of
Russ Ruddock is dropping it like a bad habit right now. He's gone from the lead or so all the way down to 6th here in about a lap and a half. As Jeff Jacobs there.
That just went off coming out of 14.
As Kernan getting very racy down the front straight. Just made that pass on Ruddock. Trying to hold on to it now as he goes through 1. He's going to try and stay pace with the Schwenke Lavender group out in front of them. But if you're Whitworth, you just want to see daylight between yourself and Iannucci in 2nd.
And if you're Ruddock, you start looking back. You got Thorman right behind you, but we talked earlier how we had Ruddock starting off on the pole.
Lavender.
And then we had Bobby Child sitting all the way back in 9th, and now there's only 1 car separating them. All right,
Lavender making the move.
Coming down the inside now.
That's for 2nd.
On Whitworth and
that's on Iannucci.
On Iannucci, pardon me. So that's now for 3rd.
That should be Lavender to 2nd,
Oh,
Iannucci
no,
to 3rd.
you're right. Yep, you're right. I'm sorry.
All the green cars right now are making their moves.
Yeah.
We got Iannucci in 3rd now, Schwenke in 4th. Schwenke now needs to make the pass on Iannucci, or he'll have to deal with a gap up to Lavender, just like what was happening in the first race. But Whitworth is loving all this action behind him because it just puts daylight down as he's now got a couple seconds at least. He's currently up about 2 seconds on Lavender. Lavender now needs to just start laying down qualifying laps in the 204s to try and capture a little bit of that lead back from Brandon Whitworth. As poor Mike Dam, that struggle there that he had back at turn 8 has put him pretty far down the order for Mike Dam. Mike Dam all the way back in unlucky 13th. He's going to work his way back up, but it's going to be tough for a race 1 winner, Mike Dam. But out in front, Whitworth puts down in the 205.0s, but Lavender, he'll want to see 204 lap times. He and Schwenke both, I think, are going to start laying down some times. Now they've gotten through the field. They've put Iannucci and Ruddock behind them, and they're going to try and set pace here to catch up with Brandon Whitworth, who's still about 1.9 seconds up the field, but they are starting to chip away already.
Yeah, and we can see Tony Kernan starting to chip away a little bit on Iannucci as well, starting to close things down.
That Lavender just put in 204.3 to Whitworth's 205.0. Now that's the lap where Lavender was doing some passing, especially down that back straight. Had a bit of a draft there to get by to get by Iannucci, but yeah, that helped a little bit. That already, though, looks like he's chipping away at this.
There you go. You said it right there. Caleb Lavender with that 2:04.33, almost 0.7 of a second faster than Whitworth. But, again, still about a 1.8 second gap separating him as we jump back on board right now with Russ Ruddick.
Bobby Childs. So these two guys in the open class battling it up, heads up, bumper to bumper. They come down into turn 5, side by side. Childs on the inside, takes the pass. Very late, but makes it stick, holds the position on that inside, even able to stay in front enough to carry it up to the bridge. So Bobby Childs, great pass here into turn 5. And for him, that's a pass for the open class lead. That's Whitworth. That's our leader.
Whitworth, who was leading the race, he now falls back to 9th. Let's take a look at the replay here as he went off track. Looks like coming out of turn 6 after the Corvette bridge. And here we go as he gets on it and just has the rear end. And you can see rear wheels still spinning, Larry. Just got on gave it a little bit too much throttle, and around he goes.
He's even fallen in line behind Mike Dam, who had a similar spin in turn 8 just a lap or so ago. So both these guys really struggling right now. For Whitworth, that's heartbreaking to go from the lead, one spin, had the spin in race 1 that put him down the order, not able to hold it in place. But this does then promote Caleb Lavender to the lead of the race. He finished second in the first race, all the way now to the top spot. He is about a second and a half ahead of Travis Schwenke. Those guys now ahead of the pack of Hernan, Iannucci, Thorman, and Bobby Childs, sitting in 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And it looks like now, as we were watching here at Canada Corner, as Nick Parstow gets around, I believe he got around Mike Dam.
Yeah.
Under braking there, and had Scott Brooks just ahead of that battle. Brooks kind of was able to scoot away. Oh, and right behind
Whitworth
again goes around, and Whitworth, as he's spinning.
Steve Daniel.
Yeah, and it looks like Daniel, he's going to go straight to the pit lane. He knows that no chance and no reason to continue on here, as we're not even halfway, Larry.
It's been an action-filled half so far. As Mike Dam trying to get back at Parsino now into turn 1. Got the draft down the front straight, get that position back. And with the way that attrition is settling in for Mike Dam, he's already back up to 11th. A top 10's not that far away for him. But not where he wanted to be in this race, starting in 10th and had his way all the way up to about 5th or 6th before his spin. So we're going to keep an eye on Mike Dam to see if his next victim in line is going to be Scott Brooks.
Oh, and there we go. Chris Thorman now
Thorman
goes
from
around.
7th. He spins out right coming out of 5. Odd point of the race to have all these spins. I would have thought you'd see this on cold tires early or worn tires late, but
not mid-race. No,
maybe we're having a temp change. What if this race a little later in the day and the track temps are just a little bit cooler for these drivers, struggling a little bit with grip on some of these slower corners like 5 and like 8
and there we go. Thank you, Dennis Branch. Throws up the temperatures for us, and I'm too slow to do the conversion from
21C. Yeah, that's probably like 68
degrees, so pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could be completely wrong on that, but it's a guess. I'll just do that 9/4 plus 32, whatever that is in my head, and figure it all out. But let's get back to the action instead of the math homework. So Scott Brooks now trying to get by. He's got LeBrun in front of him, Mike Dam on his 6. All 3 of them coming up on Jacob. Both of them coming up on LeBrun. LeBrun trying to hold on to it. Mike Dam gets the advantage there around Brooks. Now he's going to try and set his sights on LeBrun. LeBrun currently in 8th. Dam now up to 9th. So Jacob, having started this race back in 18th, dead last, has got himself all the way up to 8th. Good run for him. But I think his good run is he's at least going to probably have to deal with a very fast and probably angry Mike Dam right now after that spin.
And you can see there as Dam moves to the inside rather early on the Road America straight, just carried quite a bit more speed out of turn 14, but hits that brick wall of air, and they're side by side now, under braking going into turn 1. I suspect LeBrun is going to have to give way, and he does. So now move Mike Dam up to 8th position. Move LeBrun
I've raced
back
with LeBrun. He doesn't give way too often, I'll tell you that. But I think in that case, he knew that he didn't. It was going to probably end in tears. But he certainly doesn't want to give up the spot to Brooks behind him. So LeBrun is going to try and stick with Dam, who just had a rough exit there at 3.
Yeah, went off, dropped 2 wheels at the exit at 3. And so LeBrun, he's got the nose up going into turn 5. But Dam, he's got position going over. It looks like LeBrun, he's going to try squeezing him just a
late
little
on the brakes. Dam much later in the brakes. Very smooth down that inside. And that's the difference right there, experience of this car. Mike Dam's so good at the brake.
And you saw at the last moment there where LeBron, he was a little bit defensive, but he opened everything up at the very end, really opened up the door for Dam to come down the inside. So move LeBron, or keep LeBron now over in 9th. And LeBron now he's got to take a look at Scott Brooks, who's knocking on the door right there as well. And Nick Parsono, not all that far back as well.
Schwenke is slipping down the order a little bit.
Yes, he is.
As he was up in 2nd. We got to see what happened to Travis Schwenke. As I'm seeing a little bit of damage on the front of that car.
We're a lot.
Let's
take a look at the replay here.
Coming
out of the carousel.
Oh, he's all by his lonesome. This never works out well.
And I was going to say, you can see that car start to pushing out about mid-corner, Larry. Drop the wheel. Oh! And
I think that might have been Iannucci coming by, or Kernan, one of those two. And it's Russ Ruddock.
Yeah, Russ Ruddock there dropping back.
Did Ruddock start this race on pole?
He started on pole. He's now down to 9th, probably down to 10th.
As Brooks goes on by, and then behind Brooks, he's got a Parsono ready to take him on the inside there with the lights on for Nick. So Ruddock.
And might also, that will move Brooks now up into 3rd in the open category. You take a look here, Larry, as we've got Bobby Childs now running 4th overall, leading the open category. He started in, I believe, 9th, if I remember correctly.
Don't even know if Childs was the top 10. I think he started 11th or
12th. No, actually 11th. That's right. He started right out of the top 10.
Yep.
And now Taylor starting in 6th position. Mike Taylor started back in 16th.
Yeah, let's talk more about Bobby Childs. I know he loves us talking about him. Every chance he gets, he likes to tell us how much he loves that. He is having a very good race for him up into this 4th spot, but he's got a couple seconds. You can see the green car just in the background. That is a very angry Travis Schwenke, who we just saw have his issues coming out of carousel. Schwenke, if that car isn't damaged, is going to be hot on the tails of Bobby Childs to try and get that spot back. So we'll see how quickly he does. And then you've got Mike Dam. He's 7 seconds behind that battle, but his car doesn't have damage on it, whereas we know Schwenke's does have a little bit. There's Kernan now off track. Wow, this is getting crazy with all these spins. That looks like it's coming out of 7.
Yeah.
As he goes through 6 here at the crest of the hill. A little bit of grass on the right. That's pretty typical. As he goes through 7, he catches the grass on entry.
He caught the grass on entry there. Brought the rear end around, and you can see there just kind of skidded through the gravel trap into the grass. It doesn't look like he impacted anything there.
That just gives another position to Bobby Childs, now up to 3rd overall. As we're watching Mike Dam now with Kernan and Taylor in front of him. Dam at his spin, Kernan at his spin. Taylor's just been moving along. All 3 of these are about to come together at the end of this straight, right at Canada. And for Mike Dam, he's a Canadian. He knows this corner as he knows his country, and he takes the inside. He's going to pass them both. There goes Mike Dam right on by the Canadian in Canada corner.
Yeah, and for a moment there, I don't know if Hernan knew that Mike Dam was there. He came down to the inside. Might have been a tiny bit of contact there, but they both benefited from Taylor maybe having a bad exit.
We did say at the end of the first race we had Whitworth and a few others making a pretty good recovery drive. This Mike Dam run right now is a pretty darn good recovery drive, and for the sake of the bad pun, it's a Mike Dam good recovery drive after his spin and turn 8.
That was a bad pun.
That was really bad. As he does, he's on that recovery. He is still though about 6 seconds behind a very fast Travis Schwenke, but Schwenke may have damage in the car from tapping the wall on the carousel. So not out of the question for Mike Dam to get up even onto the podium here, as we are all of about 20 minutes here through this 30-minute race. So not out of the woods yet for Caleb Lavender. We haven't talked about him much. That's because he's only got a 10-second lead on this entire field for Caleb Lavender. He was on the 2nd step of the podium in the first race. All he's done is turn in fast laps here consistently in the 2nd race. Once he was able to grab that lead after the Whitworth spin, Lavender has just been cruising, not a car in his sight, front or back.
Yeah, after 3 second-place finishes in a row, finishing 2nd both rounds at Watkins Glen, and our first round here tonight would be a great move up the
it
up
looks
the
like
order.
qualifying. There's not a car anywhere within 5 seconds or in front or 10 seconds behind him. He's got the whole 1/3 of the track to himself.
Yeah, all he's got to do is put his head down, turn in fast laps, and keep the concentration levels high.
And
as we
Bobby,
jump back now to Bobby Childs, who's closing
he's
things
making a
down
run.
on Iannucci. Yeah,
he definitely is. And I'm looking at his pace. He's about a second a lap faster than Iannucci, so Bobby's going to have to pick his spot and get on by, because he's also probably going to have a Travis Schwenke to Mike Dam coming up his rears at some point. So for Bobby, he'd love to dispatch a Pat whenever he can here. Bobby looking very strong tonight as they come around toward turn 14 and up the Road America straight. Bobby can get a run and make that pass for second. Pat Iannucci started this second race up in that top. He was started second, I think, alongside of Ruddock. And Iannucci has just been consistent, hovering in that top group here pretty much the whole time. Dropped down a little bit, and as guys have spun, we talked about Whitworth's spin. We talked about Schwenke's spin. And so Iannucci, he's just been hanging on. For Childs, though, coming from a starting position we think was 11th or 12th here in this race, all the way up to third. Great run for Bobby. I wonder if he's a little quicker through the 5, 6, 7 sections than Iannucci in front of him, because right now he's not making any ground on Iannucci, but Bobby is overall a little quicker.
I was going to say, I think on the second half of the course where he showed the speed, coming on the run, and not very technical once you get through turn 1 going down until you get to turn 5, and then things start to
it's start to go wrong for Childs. He better watch it, because there goes Schwenke, and Mike Dam is back there somewhere, but Childs has got to get going.
And there goes Mike Dam. So move Dam now up in the 4th, drop Kernan back into 5th position.
And Childs better watch, because he's going to have a Mike Taylor right with him. And he does. There's Mike Taylor. Those guys are now fighting for position in the open class. There they are, the gray car of Childs, the blue car of Taylor. And that is Jacob LeBrun, who I said at the start, started this race in 18th, now still in 8th, through all the shuffling. And he is a pro class driver. He's going to be pushing the front of the field here of the open class through these last couple laps. Jacob almost looks a little quicker than Mike Taylor, I would have to guess. I think he might be about a second a lap quicker. So we'll see if Jacob can make his way around Mike and maybe even have a shot towards Bobby Childs before this thing is over.
Now let's see here as LeBrun gets a great run out of the carousel. Like Taylor pushed a little wide on exit.
Taylor taking the risk, though, with King. You can see him both in entry and exit.
Every last, actually more than every last.
LeBrun looked a little conservative there, with a little tighter entry, a little bit lower apex speed. LeBrun maybe thinking he's a little quicker here through the last couple of corners out of Canada. Looks like he has closed the gap a little bit. Just keeping an eye on that Schwenke gap to Iannucci as well. It's getting down there. We'll get back to that in a second. It's about 2 seconds. I want to kind of keep our eye here on this to see if LeBrun can get a run on Taylor. The battle for 7th overall. They are Taylor in open and LeBrun in pro, but every battle is still a battle here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series. Look at that draft. He's definitely getting the draft, and even probably between Taylor and Childs, probably a little bit of draft also. About 1.1 second. That draft probably goes back a little bit more than a second between these guys. You get less than a second, it's a strong pull. But up to a little about 1.1 seconds or so, you can still feel a little bit, but he's wishing he could feel a little bit more right now for Taylor, as he's got LeBrun all in his mirrors under the cheese bridge. LeBrun actually a Wisconsin native. This is his home track.
Big Cheddar fan.
Big fan of Cheddar.
All right, it looks like he did close things down a little bit under braking here and might have gotten a slightly better run out of 5 as they come up the hill under the Corvette Bridge through turn 6. We'll continue to watch this here all the while, starting to move away just a little bit. Bobby Childs having recovered from that earlier spin. He's and here we go, side by side now, coming into turn 8, LeBrun and Taylor, and LeBrun makes the pass on the outside of turn 8, going through the hurry down.
Taylor got a little bit of a bad run there through that little kink section at 7, and maybe even a little bit started coming off of 6. So LeBrun taking advantage of that. It is a tough way to pass. You need a little bit of help from your competitor to not completely run you out. LeBrun taking the advantage there of that extra run that he got. Now going by, he'll try and set his sights on Kernan out in front of, not on Kernan, I should say Bobby Childs out in front of him. Childs has opened up to about 2.5 seconds between this battle. But for LeBrun, maybe, he might just have, he's got 5 more minutes, about 3 laps to try and close that up. LeBrun now to 7th. Battle to watch, though, is Schwenke catching Iannucci 1.7 seconds back from 2nd to 3rd. There is Travis Schwenke. Just in front of him, in the other green one, that is Pat Iannucci. Looking at our clocks, we should get.
Yeah, we're just over 4 minutes remaining here.
So
4 minutes,
full laps here. It looks like.
That's what it should be.
Maybe even a 3rd lap.
let's take a look.
So we're
I think it
running
depends on where
205s.
Lavender's probably coming down into 5 right about now.
Yeah, they might get that third lap. So
yeah,
more opportunities for Schwenke. Mike Dam might be a little bit too far unless there's a huge battle between Schwenke and Iannucci. Mike Dam currently 4th. I don't know that he'll be able to catch that pack in front. The close battle on this is Russ Ruddock. JT McClintock all the way back there in 12th, 13th. Ruddock started this race on pole. McClintock, I think, started in 6th. Those guys have each had their issues. McClintock had to serve that drive-through. Ruddock, of course, fell through the field, unfortunately for him.
And, you know, Larry, I don't know this for sure, but it looks like Iannucci started to struggle a little bit on tires. Had a lot of trouble that last time getting out of turn 6. And you can see him really having to do a lot of throttle modulation in the rear end underneath him. So we'll have to keep watching that. Oh, as
Taylor again struggling.
Yeah.
That's the same section where he just got passed on the previous lap by Jacob LeBrun. So Taylor, that seems to be his nemesis now in this middle section of the track, coming through that 6, 7, 8 section. So he's probably not going to be able to take the charge back to LeBrun. LeBrun's still trying to push to Bobby Charles. LeBrun's probably happy he's got an extra lap to try and do it. Lavender, though, would love to see this race end as soon as it can because he has been leading now for the last roughly 20 minutes or so. He's coming up the hill here. There's going to be 2 laps to go.
2 to go.
As we are 2.5 minutes. And laps are just over 2. So leader will see 2 more times going by. The margin there about 12 seconds, Iannucci. But Iannucci now under 1 second to Schwenke, who's got that damage. Look at the left front. That's the side he did tap the wall coming out of carousel. So that car probably not at 100%, but Schwenke really making the best out of it right now.
He's closing things down, and you can see now Mike Dam starting to close things down.
Mike Dam is a second faster than Travis Schwenke right now. You can see it there on the lap times popping up. It's going to be close for Dam with 2 full laps, 1 second each. He's going to get really close to Schwenke. And if Schwenke doesn't dispatch Iannucci quickly, he's going to have Mike Dam right there filling his mirrors by the time they are coming into Canada for the last time here in a lap and a half. This is going to be an exciting finish. Doesn't look like it yet, but trust us.
It will.
It's building quickly. Iannucci knows it. He's thinking, why? Why do we have to have an extra lap? Schwenke's saying, I'll take that lap. And Mike Dam saying, the more merrier. Oh, no, for Schwenke.
Yeah, Schwenke tried to open up the corner, but you saw the rear end step out on him. Mid-corner has to get out of the
Very similar
throttle.
to what Bobby Childs did a couple laps ago. Schwenke was able to hold on to it. That does not help with Mike Dam, though.
Yes.
Mike Dam is coming. Oh, there's Thorman going around. That does not help him at all.
That's coming out of turn 3. Thorman goes around, dropping Chris Thorman now, who had been up as high as 3rd, I think.
He was up there in the top 4 or so.
Yeah, so down now to 13. And here we jump back over to our top 3. There is Travis Schwenke now.
Still chasing Iannucci. It's 1.2 Iannucci to Schwenke. It's only 1.7 to Mike Dam. Again, we're going to get another lap and a half here between these guys, and Mike Dam is by far the fastest car at the track by a lot. His last time by was his fastest lap, 2:04.6, and it's about the second fastest lap of the entire race by anybody. Schwenke's last time was 2:05.5, and that was before this lap where he had that bit of a wiggle there coming out of 5. So it's coming down to the nail-biting end here between Dam, Schwenke, and Iannucci for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. Only 2 of these guys are going to finish on the podium. The question is, can Iannucci hang on? Mike Dam put a flyer in for the next 4.05 miles? Or is this going to be Schwenke to be able to take the bridesmaid's prize?
All right, as you can see, and of course, our leader, Caleb Lavender, had already taken the white flag. We are on the last lap here from Road America for our 2nd race. And look at that, JT McClintock, he goes around. Drop him now back into 12th position as Russ Ruddock goes by. That was over at Canada Corner as we jump over to our leader. Long time since we've seen Caleb Lavender.
He's been doing his thing. Still looks like qualifying. Looks like he's got the whole track to himself. For Lavender, he's okay with that. He just wants to get 3. He's a little bit of conservative there, not running all the way out, probably not using curves. He knows his gap. He's got the relative F3 screen turned on. He knows he doesn't need it, but he also doesn't want to miss your marks. That's one of those things you just want to hit your marks, do your thing, not do it crazy. He's got all of about 2 miles to go, and he'll be able to take that checker. But the battle's behind, as we've got Parsono, the battle of the white cars. That should be Brooks. Yep, this is the battle for 9th. These guys 10th and 9th coming into turn 5.
Good defensive line there by Brooks as they come into 5. Parsoner is going to have to try and set him up, probably set him up going down into Canada. Or maybe down into turn 8 as we jump back up to that battle
up into
for second.
Canada. Here comes. This is going to be Schwenke. What kind of run can he get off the king? What kind of run can Iannucci get to try and defend Mike Dam? I think he may be running out of miles to be able to get this done. Iannucci has put in a pretty good lap and a half. Caleb Lavender has put in a pretty good 31 minutes here, I would say. He's got 2 more quarters to go, and he will be able to see that checker coming up the hill here at the Road America Straight. And he's going to be wondering, where'd everybody go?
You know, I don't know if he's actually seen anybody on track for the last 15 minutes or so.
He's already flashing the lights coming up the hill, half a mile before checkered. And there is your race 2 winner, Caleb Lavender. Second in round 1. He takes the checkered here in race number 2. Travis Schwenke not quite getting enough run to get by Iannucci. Iannucci looks like he might just hang on to it. And he does. And it's going to be Schwenke third. Mike Dam, pretty good recovery there to finish 4th after falling all the way down the field early.
Tony Kernan comes down the front straight. He will finish in 5th, and there we go. Bobby Childs, he's going to take the win in the open category.
Despite
he had some issues.
The spin and the win. And LeBrun, there he is, all the way to 7th from starting 18th back of this field. For Jacob LeBrun finally getting a good finish for him.
A little redemption for him after last week.
Taylor takes 2nd in the open class, followed by Brooks taking 3rd in open. There's 8th and 9th on the overall. And then, of course, there is Russ Ruddock, who started this race on pole, going to finish 11th. Just out of the top 10 for him in the Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry. JT McClintock had his issues, not his race that he wanted. He's going to finish in 12th. Chris Thorman finishing 13th. Casey Whitworth, Jacobs, Daniel McGrew did not finish. And what a second race, all the way through a pretty exciting top to bottom race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. You know, for a while it looked like maybe nobody wanted to win in this race.
Nobody wanted second because it was obvious Caleb Lavender wanted to win and he got it.
Exactly. All right. So, Larry, tell you what, why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here from Road America. So we'll be back in just a moment. You have been watching race number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series from Road America. Be back with you in just a few moments.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and welcome back to Road America. You've just watched the second race of the evening on the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, Apex Racing Academy, and we cannot forget Larry scoring. And great battle there. Hopefully, we'll have a couple of our podium finishers come into the the green room here in just a moment. But to recap what you just saw, Caleb Lavender in his D2D E-Racing entry, he takes the win. Margin of victory over 12, almost 13 seconds over Pat Iannucci in the again, no L there, the Cryptoji Green
Glad you could say
entry,
it.
the number 8 car. Oh, I don't know if I could say it. I still think there's an L missing there. Travis Schwenke beats out his Orion Racing teammate to take home the last step on the podium. Tony Kernan also had a little off-track excursion. He brings the car home in 5th. Bobby Childs, our open category winner over Mike Taylor. You can see there Jacob LeBrun with a great to see LeBrun actually get this 7th position finish. 6th in the pro category after again what was a very difficult debut last time out at Watkins Glen, and then obviously for the first race this evening as well. And so you see there Taylor coming home 2nd in the open category, Scott Brooks taking the last step on the podium. Nick Parsono, who also had a great battle with Brooks with a little I think Mike Dam thrown in the middle there at one point. He comes home just off the podium. All right, looks like we've got Travis Schwenke joining us here. Dennis, if you could bring him on in, we'll talk to Travis Schwenke.
All right, we are here with Travis Schwenke, who in round 1 tonight, race 1, was fighting with Caleb Lavender for quite a while. Thought maybe in race 2 was going to fight his way through the field. Travis, you fought your way through, and then you had that bit of a spin coming off a carousel. Talk me through that.
Yeah, I just hadn't let the tires get all the way up and was pushing pretty hard through carousel because I was a little quicker than he was there usually. So just caught the grass on the exit and spun it around. I'm really surprised the car was still that drivable after that hit.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too. Is any damage? Anything you could feel?
It took me a couple laps. The slow speed corners, I just had to be a little more ginger on throttle, and so coming out of the second gear corners, and then just straight lines, so it lost maybe 3/4 of a second total. I noticed though when I started catching Pat getting in his draft, most of that was gone. I was only like 0.1 down on my fast lap when I got behind him then. So the draft, a lot of it must have been just the draft and drag loss from that.
Well, then you mentioned about the slow speed corners. You had to be careful about 2 laps to the end there, as we thought maybe you had a shot to catch Pat. You had Mike coming up on you. A little bit of a wiggle there coming out of 5.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of places it was, and I was trying to diamond that off a little more, and I just caught too much of the bump. So I was the bump caused me this more than the issues with the car was that one. So
yeah, but able to hang on to it. Good recovery there in this this tough long track here at Road America. A lot of attrition tonight. Able to come back and finish. So 3rd in the first race, 3rd in the second race. Can't be too disappointed for you.
No, definitely not. That's a recovery. Same with Mike. He had a great recovery race.
Yeah, he did. So good job tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you in the next round.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing entry, finishing 3rd tonight. And Larry, I hear that we have our winner from race number 2, Caleb Lavender, driver of the number 333 car. He's on board now.
All right, Caleb Lavender is with us. So Caleb, last time out at Watkins Glen, a couple of a bridesmaid spot tonight. First race again in that bridesmaid spot, but tonight the attrition took everybody else out, and all of a sudden you had the track to yourself. What are you thinking 10 minutes in and you can't see a car in front or behind you?
I was just thinking, don't wreck. Yeah, I really backed it down a lot there, just cruising to the finish.
Yeah, you had the first race. You had quite a battle there with Travis Schwenke. Were you just trying to defend on that point? Were you worried he was going to try and make a move here toward the end of that race?
I was, because he was, he stayed in the tow with me, and I was worried about him lunging me back down into turn 5, I believe. And I had already lost the tow from Mike Dam, and he's so dang quick, man. He's tough to keep up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you get into the second race, and you're fighting your way through the field, and there's a lot of action ahead. A couple of spins. I think even Whitworth, may have spun a little bit in front of you there. How much is just dodging those spins and trying to stay clean is on your mind, especially in the first third of that race?
Yeah, I was just working with Travis and Mike, just staying in line, being ready for those spins to happen. And I saw an opportunity to get by Travis, and it was, clear track ahead. The only really scary moment was when Brandon spun after Corvette.
Yeah, he looked like he took up the right and third of the track and didn't leave you much room on that inside.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
So so a great result for you tonight, a second place, and of course then the win here all by yourself, a good 15 seconds ahead of the field there as you come across checkered. So I got to ask, anybody you want to thank for this good race and performance tonight?
I'd just like to thank my teammates over at D2D, you guys for the great broadcast you guys do every week, and Pro Forma and Ricmotech for sponsoring the series.
All right, well, congratulations, Caleb, on the win, and then earlier in the second, pretty almost max points here tonight. So great job with that, and looking forward to seeing you next time out.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
All right, there you go. Caleb Lavender, driver the number 333 D2D E-Racing entry, our winner in race 2 tonight, both overall and in the pro category. Larry, we're going to move from Caleb to his D2D E-Racing teammate, our winner in the open category from race number 2. That is Bobby Childs.
I believe we've got a Bobby Childs with us, and Bobby, fascinating race, great result, finishing first in the open class second race, but it wasn't without a little bit of drama. Walk me through some of your spins and such, and what was going through your mind in that second race.
Well, the second race only had the one spin. The first race is where I found trouble twice. Coming into 13, you really had to modulate the throttle so well. Like you just had to be dead on with your throttle modulation because the rear end really wanted to step out in 13. And then I found some grass in another part of the track. Race 2, just coming into turn 5, and I caught just enough of that left side curb to bounce the car, and around she went, man. I really thought I was going to have a good race with Pat Iannucci for P2, and that just all went away.
Yeah, you were definitely gaining right on him, and you were hopefully, it looked like at that point, maybe even holding off a hard-charging Schwenke and Mike Dam back there, but all of a sudden you spun, you had yourself kind of at risk in the track there. I thought, oh no, with Schwenke coming up behind you, maybe the light was going to be over for everybody, but you recovered. Seemed to have cleared your head pretty quickly because you started putting down some pretty good lap times then, even towards the closing stages of that race.
Oh yeah, I drive better when I'm angry. It's kind of like Bob Smash steering wheel, and it just, man, it was a really, it's a great track. It was a really tough night with the conditions though.
Yeah, it seemed to be, and maybe a good thing to kind of recover and survive in that second race to take the class win there in that open class. So, Bobby, who do you want to thank tonight for this open class victory in race 2?
Oh, well, as always, I got to thank Proforma Elite Texas Graphics for their continued partnership with D2D and for their partnership with the series. I got to thank my teammates as always. They're a really great group of guys with, Brandon Whitworth, Chris Thorman, David Payton, Andrew List, Eric Violet, and now Caleb Lavender. That was a really big deal for us signing him. He's got a lot of pace and a lot of passion for racing, and we're really excited to see where we go with him. I want to send, of course, a big shout out to Andrew List out there in the real world of racing. Say hi to Eric Violet, who's at home recovering sick, which is why he was not here tonight. And of course, thank you guys for your continued work in the broadcast booth, and as always, Frank Rico at Ricmotech for helping us put this series on.
Of course, and we wish well for Andrew and his recovery there. Looking forward to seeing him again, and thank you, Bobby. Looking forward to seeing you again. I like these interviews post-race a lot more than the in-race ones. I'm just saying, I think.
But the in-race ones are so good.
They do sound good. I feel bad when you join us because it means you're not driving. So it's great to see a good result for you.
Yes. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right. Thank you very much, Bobby Childs. Winner in race 2 tonight in the open category, driver of the 88 D2D E-Racing entry. Of course, want to congratulate once again our winners from race 1. Mike Dam, of course, tonight in the number 93 machine, taking home the win both overall and in the pro category, and Russ Ruddick, who we spoke to at the beginning of the evening in the number 95 Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry, took the win in race 1 in the open category. So, Larry, that's going to wrap things up for us here tonight from Road America. Again, if you like what you saw here tonight, please go ahead, smash that thumbs up button on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the Apex Racing TV channel and click on that notification bell so you can find out about all the virtual motorsports, virtual racing around the world, practically 24/7 on Apex Racing TV.
All the time.
All the time. So, all right. So let's take a look, Larry, at what we've got coming up on the schedule. A week from tonight, October 4th, that is Monday night, October 4th, we're going to have, it's hard to believe that we're already up on the finale of the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, our MX5 series. Round number 9, the finale going to be at Imola. So definitely join us next Monday night. In 2 weeks, the Ricmotech World Challenge returns. Round 3 going to be heading all the way around the globe to Japan and to Suzuka. That's when you're going to see our LMP2 and GT3 entries. That should be a great time. I think it's the very first time that the World Challenge has been to Suzuka, so we'll have to see how our drivers fare there. And then in 3 weeks, October 18th, the Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series returns, and it is not at Road America. I'm going to get you where we are next. If I look straight at the screen,
it says Road America.
Yeah, it says Road America.
It'll be the Lamborghini Trophy Series at track to be determined. We'll look that up.
Yes, we will look that up, but I guarantee it's not at Road America.
ExtremeMotorsports99.com. You can go find the schedule there for all of the Ricmotech series, and you'll be able to see which track is hosting every single event. And, of course, we do know dates and schedules are all up there. And soon we'll know who also wins that prize to go drive a Lamborghini at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But you've got to tune in to watch those races to find out. And in that race in 3 weeks, the Lamborghini Trophy Series, we're not sure where it's going to be, but go look it up, ExtremeMotorsports99.com, to find that answer.
All right. For Larry McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg. And, of course, we got Dennis Branch sitting back at the booth. We want to thank him for all of his assistance tonight. You will never know how grateful we are. And we'll see you next Monday night.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.